The Pete Souza Show. We are live from San Francisco, wrapping up a Monday show, talking about the NCAA tournament presented by Slovacics. D1, Daniel Stark Injury Lawyers, Crawford Austin Properties, First National Bank of Central Texas, Socorro Family Ford. We love you. Thank you for making this possible. I'll have a game on Wednesday night, UC Irvine and UAB, ESPN2, NIT quarterfinal action. Stanford lost last night to Kent State. But it's been a really fun tournament, so tune in on Wednesday if you can. NCAA tournament, which everybody's been locked on, has included BYU. And what BYU has done is well surpass any expectations heading into the season, where BYU started the season ranked 9th in the Big 12 preseason poll. Kevin Young, their brand new head coach, who was an assistant for the Phoenix Suns, has been in pro basketball, not college basketball, pro basketball since 2007. So he is a pro basketball coach. Now, he's a basketball coach, but he's a pro basketball coach. He was lured to Provo after Mark Pope left last year, and has turned out to be a brilliant hire for so many reasons. But the foresight that BYU had to take this unknown to folks in the general public, right? Unknown to a lot of college basketball recruits, but a very known entity to anyone who knows basketball. And the development of young players, what makes them tick, and clearly how to get them to respond to him. He has now, BYU, had lost 4 of 5 around the middle of January. And their final loss was to their rival, Utah, who obviously we know what happened with Utah's season. But they lost 4 of 5, and January 18th was the loss to Utah, an overtime loss, 73-72. They finished the season 15. Right now they're 15-3 in their last 18 games. Richie Saunders is playing out of his mind. Out of his mind. Not only has he earned even more respect from the amazing faithful out in Provo at BYU, but he's also gotten the attention of folks around the NBA who are talking about this guy being a potential first-round pick now. So this is something that is really happening for BYU. They play Alabama, first game on Thursday night. They're in the midst of what is a bit of a dream run. Now, Mark Pope did not win an NCAA tournament game while he was coaching BYU. He had a lot of success, but he was unable to win an NCAA tournament game. Kevin Young has already won 2. And what he has also done is he's changed the landscape for coaches in college basketball. And if you have any curiosity as to an example of that, well, look right down the road at Utah and Salt Lake, hiring Alex Jensen, an NBA assistant coach with the Utah Jazz for a long time, currently or was with the Dallas Mavericks before he was poached from them to now coach Utah. And that we're moving towards a pro model as far as contracts with players, right? Players getting paid a certain way of handling these types of players. And hang on one second, okay? Murph.
Hey.
We're right in the middle of the Pete Souza Show. Are you going to come on and talk about the Masters in a week or 2?
Sure.
All right, I'm going to call you back afterwards, all right?
Yeah.
All right, that's Murph Barton. You heard him. He's coming on talking about the Masters. It's that time of year. I'll give Murph a call in a little bit and give him a rundown of what's going on out here. But what BYU has done is just absolutely amazing. And I think they have laid the blueprint out for success in college basketball going forward. It's going to take coaches and player development, right? Like, and examples. And Scott Drew is a pretty good example, right? Like, Scott Drew is sort of like this model in a sense because he understood a little while back, like, hey, we're going to take these guys, we're going to help them up their draft status if they're 5-star blue chippers that are expected to get taken in the lottery. We're going to improve upon that, and we're going to make them better men. Those are things that we can do. We can manage those expectations, and the program's going to win. BYU is going to the Sweet 16, And it's the first time they've gone to the Sweet 16 since 2012 with Jimmer Fredette. 2011, actually. That was before I went to rehab. So that was a long time ago. In my world, it was like a whole nother life. I want to pull up the so Alabama's a 4.5-point favorite. Let's talk about the Thursday games before we leave, okay? We'll just take a look at the matchup. So thank you, Scotty Swingler, back in the home office. So Thursday night's games, BYU and Alabama. Alabama is a 4.5-point favorite. That will tip off at 6 o'clock local time in Waco or in Central Texas. Florida and Maryland. Florida's a 6.5-point favorite. That game is at 4:30 on Thursday. Duke and Arizona. Duke is a 9.5-point favorite. That is my upset special. I like Arizona winning that game. Texas Tech, a 5.5-point favorite against Arkansas. That's going to be the late one on Thursday night, 9 o'clock on True TV. That's going to be a great game. I think Texas Tech finds a way to win. If they don't, it's going to be all Cal all the time, right? We love our storylines. Friday, Ole Miss and Michigan State. Michigan State's a 2.5-point favorite. That's at 6 o'clock on Friday. It's on CBS, KWTX if you're watching locally in Central Texas. God bless KWTX. Then the Friday night games continue. Tennessee and Kentucky. Wow. What a heavyweight matchup. SEC rivals facing off. Tennessee, a 4.5-point favorite. I like Kentucky in that game. Auburn and Michigan. Auburn, a 7.5-point favorite. And then you have Purdue and Houston. Houston is a 7.5-point favorite. Okay, now let's be real. One last thought before we go. March Madness is so much fun. And we love the upsets and we love the mid-majors. But can we be real? Was that not just a murderer's row of teams I just read off? Like, I'm sorry. I'm not offended that Mount St. Mary's or George Mason, right, or Kent State isn't on that list. I'm just not. And I can promise you the folks at CBS aren't upset either. Okay? Those are some serious showdowns with some serious firepower coming at you later this week. So we're going to dive into both of those. But they all start with BYU and Alabama on Thursday. BYU, a 4.5-point underdog. I'm telling you to crush BYU. All right, that's it for today. We're going to come back tomorrow. We'll be on the road again. I think by tomorrow we might still be in San Francisco, but we're headed to Irvine. I think that's a plane ride, but I got to figure all that stuff out. I mean, I just woke up out here, right? So we're getting everything together. I love connecting with you guys. Like and subscribe, right? Click on that little bell to get alerts when we're going live and when you can get all the content. Swingler, great job back there in Central Texas. Thanks to Slovacics. We'll check you out tomorrow. Have a great rest of your Monday.
It's the Pete Souza Show. Sports.